All right. So how did you move from traditional real estate into the sector and the section of storage?
One day I got an email about self-storage from this guy, Scott Myers. I don't know the first thing about self-storage. I never once saw a self-storage operator. This email comes in and it says, real estate without toilets, tenants, and trash is the subject line. What's this? Sounds like another BS thing. Open it up. That wasn't what hooked me. It got me to open the email, but what hooked me was this stat, which is different today, and I'll update it for you. But in 2016, the stat was 80% of all self-storage facilities are owned by mom and pop owners. At this point, I've read a little bit about self-storage once I got the email, and I started thinking about it, and I was like, wow, I would have thought it's more 80% owned by Public and Extra Space and CubeSmart. Yeah, that just kind of rocked me because of my experience in distressed debt, and in particular, my experience in second mortgages. Well, there's no Zillow for it. To me, I didn't know anything about self-storage, but I just knew that 80% being owned by mom and pop means it's not an efficient market. There's inefficiencies out there somewhere. Have to be. This is what I want to investigate to see if it's worth it. So I bought the at-home course. I read the whole thing, the binder. It came with like the DVDs for your laptop, which my laptop didn't even have a DVD player anymore. And then about a year goes by and I get a call from the education company, Scott Myers Self-Storage Investing, that said, hey, we're going to be in Philadelphia for a academy and you've already paid to be there as part of your at-home education course. It's a tremendous amount of opportunity in self-storage because it's still so dominated by mom and pops. Different sources say different numbers. Some say still 70%. Safe to say still at least 65% of facilities are owned by mom and pops. And that number is not likely to drastically change because you'd say, wow, it sure did in, 6 or 7 years, but size matters in self-storage. So there's a kind of a demarcation line as to where the big boys will go down to in terms of how many square feet the facility is. So most of the smaller facilities are the ones that are owned by the mom and pop as well. So put the number at comfortably, there's 20,000 self-storage facilities comfortably. There's probably 30, but at least 20 that will change hands in the next 10 years because they're all owned by mom and pops who are 65 plus.
Now, when you say small size, what's small size for you in storage?
I'll give you small size for a REIT. So for Public, the REITs don't generally want to go below 50,000 square feet. It's a 40,000 square foot facility a mile away from one they already own and operate that's 100,000 or 75. Yeah, sure. There's exceptions, but in general, they're not going below 50. There's a subset of institutional buyers that sit below the REIT. Everyone will always buy as big as possible as long as the deal works that you've negotiated, but they'll go lower than the REITs. They'll go down to 30. They're really more of a 40 and up, maybe 30 if it's a hub and spoke scenario. Where do these 20,000 fall in size that I'm talking about? 30 and below, down to 5,000.